I, female, 28, found out my best friend, female, 27, was having an affair with my boyfriend, male 30, and now she's reaching out to me. Throwaway because some of my friends know my main account. Also, this is going to be long. Sorry, I just need to get this all out. So I've been friends with Monica for like 10 years. We met sophomore year of high school when we got paired as lab partners in chemistry class. She was this super outgoing person who basically adopted me. I was way more shy back then, and we just clicked. We went to different colleges, but stayed close, did spring breaks together, and she was there for me when my dad got diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer 3 years ago. She'd come over with ice cream at midnight when I'd call her crying, help me research treatments, even drove me to the hospital when I was too upset to drive myself. Dad's in remission now, by the way. Anyway, about 3 years ago, I met Kevin on Bumble after a string of terrible dating app disasters. He wasn't really my usual type, but we had this amazing first date that turned into a 6-hour conversation. He's smart, has a good job in finance, and actually listened when I talked instead of just waiting for his turn to speak like most guys. Here's where it gets weird. Monica never liked him. From the beginning, she would make these little comments like, "He seems kind of basic," or "You could do better," or "Something about him seems off." I always thought she was being protective because of my horrible ex Ryan who cheated on me with his coworker. Whole other story. Looking back now, I realize that was a massive red flag that I completely misinterpreted. So fast forward to 4 months ago. Monica and I were supposed to go to this wine bar downtown. I got to her apartment early, and she was still in the shower. My phone was almost dead, so I asked if I could use hers to call an Uber. She yelled, "Sure," from the bathroom. While I'm holding her phone, a text notification pops up from Kevin saying, "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again." I felt sick when I saw it. I opened the messages and started scrolling through. There were hundreds of messages going back 2 months. Sexting, pictures, plans to meet up when I was working late, inside jokes about sneaking around. I couldn't fucking believe it. My boyfriend and my best friend. The two people I trusted most in the world. I took screenshots of the worst messages and emailed them to myself as proof. I don't know why. I guess I thought they might try to trick me or something. Then I called Kevin immediately. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped the phone twice trying to dial. When he answered, he was all cheerful, but when I asked him about the messages, he went completely silent. Then he started stammering that it wasn't what it looked like, and he would come over to explain. I told Monica I suddenly felt sick and had to go. I couldn't even look at her. Then I drove to her parking lot and waited for her to come home. When she pulled in and saw my face, she knew something was wrong. I showed her the screenshots and asked her to explain. She tried to claim I was misinterpreting friendly messages, so I told her about one of the explicit messages where she described what she wanted to do to him. There's no way to misinterpret that. Her eyes filled with tears and she whispered, "It just happened," which is the most bullshit excuse I've ever heard. Things don't just happen for 2 months behind your best friend's back. While I was confronting her, she was secretly texting under the table. Guess who shows up 10 minutes later? Kevin. I was so furious. They'd clearly coordinated their stories. Kevin stood silently by the door while Monica tearfully admitted they'd been sleeping together. He barely said anything, just stood there looking at the floor. I threw my keys at them, missed, unfortunately, and left. Blocked both their numbers, all social media, everything. Then a month later, I find out through mutual friends that Monica is pregnant with Kevin's baby. Part of me honestly hoped they would both suffer, but then I felt guilty because the baby didn't do anything wrong. Kevin moved in with Monica when the baby, Emma, was born because he wanted to do the right thing or whatever. I've been in therapy since all this happened. My therapist says I have trust issues now. Great. I switched to a more demanding job at a different company to keep my mind busy. My mom, who never liked Monica by the way, had the nerve to say I should have seen this coming because Monica had a history of dating her friends' exes in college. Thanks for the support, Mom. About 3 months ago, I ran into Kevin at this coffee shop near my new office. He looked exhausted, had lost weight, and just seemed worn out. We ended up talking briefly, and he mentioned they were having money problems. He said he suspected Monica was taking money from their accounts, but couldn't prove it. I didn't really know what to say, so I just nodded and left as quickly as possible. Now here's where I need advice. Monica emailed me last week saying Kevin left her for Julia, female, 25, his yoga instructor. She claims she's changed and misses our friendship and wants to meet up to talk. The thing is, I have bank statements, screenshots of transfers, and a recorded conversation where Monica admitted to our mutual friend Amanda that she'd been stealing from Kevin's accounts for over a year. Amanda sent it to me because she felt guilty about not telling me about the affair earlier. Part of me wants to confront Monica with all this evidence, but another part just wants to keep no contact and move on with my life. I'm so conflicted. I keep thinking about her being there when my dad was sick and all our history together, but then I remember how easily she betrayed me. Do I meet up with her and show her the evidence, or do I just ignore her and move on with my life? I honestly don't know what to do, and it's keeping me up at night. Edit. Some people are asking why I kept the financial evidence if I wanted to move on. Honestly, I wasn't planning to do anything with it. Amanda just sent it to me, and I saved it. I guess part of me thought Kevin might need it someday for legal reasons. I don't know. Edit 2. To clarify the timeline, they started the affair 8 months into her pregnancy. I found out 4 months ago when Emma was about 14 months old. Kevin left Monica about a month ago. And yes, I did get tested for STDs immediately after finding out about the affair. All clear, thankfully. Edit 3. I'm overwhelmed by all the responses. To those asking if I still have feelings for Kevin, absolutely not. He's dead to me. This isn't about getting him back, it's about whether I should expose Monica's theft. Now for the first update. So, I decided to meet with Monica. I know. A lot of you said to just block her and move on with my life. And honestly, that was my first instinct too. But I've been getting these messages from mutual friends saying how Monica is struggling so much as a single mom and how she really regrets what happened and deserves forgiveness or whatever. Plus, my therapist said that sometimes closure can be healing. Quick life update. I actually got promoted at work last month. Yay! Which has been keeping me super busy and helped distract me from all this. Also, I started taking this pottery class, which is actually really therapeutic. Just smashing and molding clay while thinking about Monica's face. I agreed to meet her at this cafe across town because I did not want to run into anyone we know. I got there 15 minutes early and sat in this corner table. I was so nervous, I ordered a lavender latte and could barely drink it. Monica showed up 15 minutes late. She's always been like this. First thing she does is pull out her phone before even sitting down, saying she had to show me pictures of Emma. Seeing this little human who has Kevin's exact eyes looking back at me hit me harder than I expected. For a second, I thought maybe I still had feelings for Kevin, but it was more about the future I thought we might have had together. So Monica starts this whole apology that seemed very rehearsed. It was this mix of taking responsibility while actually blaming everything on Kevin. She kept saying Kevin had pursued her after her breakup with that accountant guy she dated for like 2 months. She claimed she was in this vulnerable state, and Kevin took advantage of that. The whole time she's talking, I'm just sitting there thinking how contradictory everything she's saying is. 1 minute she's saying she takes full responsibility, and the next sentence is about how Kevin wouldn't take no for an answer. I decided to just let her talk herself in circles. Then she starts going on about how Kevin is barely paying child support while living with Julia, the yoga instructor. She literally pulled up Julia's Instagram to show me pictures of them at the beach last weekend. She was crying about how hard it is being a single mom and how Kevin doesn't understand what it costs to raise a child. I actually felt a tiny bit bad for her until she let slip something about how she was going to make Kevin pay properly and how he hasn't seen what a real child support claim looks like yet. The way she said it was so calculating. That's when I remembered why I was actually there. I didn't tell her I knew about the money she took from Kevin's accounts. Instead, I just asked some questions about their financial arrangements. She claimed Kevin was hiding money to avoid paying proper support. After we finished our coffee, which lasted almost 2 hours because Monica would not stop talking, I texted Kevin. I know that probably sounds crazy, but I just wanted to hear his side about the money stuff. I suggested meeting for coffee. I changed outfits before meeting him, which is ridiculous because I literally hate him. But seeing him still gives me this weird anxiety feeling where my heart races. Kevin brought documents showing he's been paying the full court-ordered child support, plus extra for Emma's daycare and medical expenses. He seemed genuinely concerned about money disappearing from accounts Monica had access to when they lived together. The whole Monica Cafe meeting went basically like this. She showed up late and immediately hugged me before I could back away. She said I looked amazing and asked if I'd lost weight. I just nodded and gestured for her to sit down. She pulled out her phone and started showing baby pictures without asking. She kept saying, "Emma has Kevin's eyes but my personality." She kept touching my arm, saying she knows she doesn't deserve forgiveness. People at nearby tables started looking over because Monica talks so loud. She claimed Kevin had been texting her for months before anything happened. When I pointed out this contradicted what Kevin told me, she backpedaled, saying she was confused about the timeline. She complained about struggling to pay rent, while Kevin and Yoga Girl post beach pictures. When I asked specific questions about the child support arrangement, she got defensive. She claimed Kevin barely pays the court minimum. That's when her eyes got all narrow, and she muttered that thing about making him pay more. So, I arranged to meet Monica again next week. I told her I wanted to discuss rebuilding our trust, but what I'm actually planning to do is confront her with all the evidence of her theft. I've gathered everything: bank statements, screenshots of transfers, that recorded conversation Amanda sent me where Monica admits to stealing from Kevin's accounts. I made copies of everything. I'm super anxious about this confrontation. Part of me wants to expose her, but another part worries about how this might impact Emma. The baby is innocent in all this, and if Monica has to pay back all that money or faces legal consequences, I don't know. I've been practicing what to say, but I keep imagining different scenarios playing out, and it's stressing me out. Am I doing the right thing here? Should I just anonymously send the evidence to Kevin instead and wash my hands of all this? God, I'm so tired of this whole situation. Edit. Since everyone's asking, no, I do not have feelings for Kevin anymore. When I say my heart races when I see him, it's anxiety, not attraction. Finding out someone you trusted completely could betray you like that doesn't just go away overnight. And meeting him was purely to verify Monica's claims, not to try to get back together. Edit 2. To those suggesting I might be doing this for revenge, it's more complicated than that. Yes, part of me wants Monica to face consequences for what she did, both the affair and the stealing, but it's also about doing what's right. Kevin deserves to know his child's mother is stealing from him, regardless of our past. Edit 3. Thanks for all the advice about recording the conversation with Monica. I've checked and we're in a one-party consent state, so it's legal for me to record without telling her. I'll definitely do that as backup. Edit 4. For the person who asked about my dad, he's still in remission and doing great. He actually never liked Kevin much, said he seemed slippery, so at least he can say I told you so now. Now for the second update. So, I went through with it. I met with Monica again, and holy shit did things take a turn. I ended up taking a mental health day from work to prepare for this meeting. I never do this kind of thing, but my anxiety was through the roof. I barely slept the night before. Kept waking up every hour, imagining different ways this conversation could go. I even called my cousin Jake, who works in banking, to ask about the legal implications of unauthorized transfers. He said it could potentially be considered fraud depending on how the accounts were set up. Great. I picked a different cafe this time. This little place downtown that none of our mutual friends ever go to. I got there like 30 minutes early. I was that nervous, and grabbed a corner table in the back for privacy. I brought all the evidence in this manila folder that I'd labeled Monica, which felt weirdly official. I had made copies of everything. The bank statements showing all those small recurring transfers, seriously like $200 to $300 every few days for months. Screenshots of her text to Amanda admitting the theft, and even some bank security footage my cousin helped me get, showing Monica using Kevin's card at an ATM when he was out of town. I was sitting there drinking my coffee, probably my third one that morning, which didn't help the anxiety, when Monica walked in with Emma in a stroller. I honestly hadn't expected her to bring the baby. That threw me off completely. For a second, I seriously considered just abandoning the whole plan, because how do you confront someone about theft when there's a literal baby staring at you? Monica saw me and did this whole dramatic wave. She came over and tried to hug me before I could stand up. I awkwardly patted her back. Emma was asleep in the stroller, thankfully. The first, 20 minutes was just Monica going on and on about rebuilding our friendship. She kept talking about planning a girls' trip to Cancun like we did in college and suggesting play dates with Emma and my sister's kids. My sister's kids are 10 and 12, by the way, not exactly play date age with a toddler, but whatever. I just kept nodding along because I didn't know what to say. Monica totally took this as enthusiasm and not the complete discomfort it actually was. She started pulling up resort websites on her phone, showing me these all-inclusive places in Mexico that we absolutely had to go to, and talking about how we could leave our problems behind. The irony of her suggesting this when I was literally sitting there with a folder full of evidence against her was a lot. Then her phone buzzed with a text from Kevin about his weekend visitation with Emma. You should have seen how fast her whole demeanor changed. Her face just hardened. She started immediately complaining about how cheap he was being with child support and how he owed her way more for ruining her body with pregnancy. She literally said, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember her exact words, that he needed to pay up for what he did to her life. That's when I knew for sure I was doing the right thing. This woman was talking about the father of her child like he was just an ATM, not someone who should be in Emma's life, just a source of money. I waited until she finished her rant about Kevin. She finally took a breath and I just slid the folder across the table. I didn't even say anything. Monica looked confused for a second. She opened it and I swear to God I will never forget how her face changed. It went from confusion to shock to absolute panic in 3 seconds flat. She slammed the folder shut and looked around frantically before leaning in and asking me where the hell I got these documents. I told her I had digital copies saved in multiple locations, which was true, I'm not stupid. She tried to claim the transfers were gifts that Kevin had authorized while they were together. I pulled out the printouts of the text messages where she straight up told Amanda she was skimming from Kevin's accounts and that he wouldn't notice small amounts missing. Monica's face went bright red. She whispered that I didn't understand what it costs to raise a child alone. I pointed out that the transfers started 8 months before she was even pregnant. That shut her up real quick. She pulled Emma's stroller closer, the baby was still sleeping through all of this, thank God, and told me I was going to destroy Emma's life over some money, and that she thought I was better than that. That actually hurt, but I told her she was the one who stole from her own daughter's father, money that could have gone to Emma's future. That's when she just broke. Started crying, but quietly because of the baby. And then she said something that really surprised me. She admitted she'd always been jealous of me, of my job, my family, the way everyone loves me. She said even back in college, she thought everything was always easy for me. I was shocked. What? My life has never been easy. My dad almost died from cancer. I've struggled with anxiety since high school, and she's been my best friend for 10 years. All this time she's been secretly resenting me. I didn't even know what to say to that. So I just told her I had recorded our entire conversation, legal in our state, I checked, and gave her an ultimatum, either confess to Kevin and arrange repayment, or I would provide all the evidence to Kevin and his lawyer. She tried everything. First bargaining, I'll pay half of it back, then begging, please don't do this to me, then threatening, I'll tell everyone you knew about the affair the whole time. None of it worked. I just sat there. Finally, she agreed to confess. The aftermath has been complicated. Monica did actually tell Kevin everything. I made her call him while I was still there to make sure. Kevin was able to use the evidence in family court. They arranged some kind of repayment plan through mediation, and Kevin now has shared custody of Emma with better oversight of the child support payments. I actually ran into Kevin and Emma at the grocery store 2 weeks ago. It was weird, but not as awful as I expected. Emma is walking now and is honestly adorable, not that I would ever tell Monica that. Kevin seemed genuinely happy to see me and thanked me for my help. He said what I did was brave, which is not how I would describe it, but whatever. I have zero interest in rebuilding any kind of friendship with Monica. I'm completely done with her. But I do sometimes wonder about Emma. I once thought she might be my stepdaughter someday, which is a weird thing to process. In other news, I've actually started dating someone new. Ben, male, 32, is my brother's friend from work. He knows nothing about all this mess, thank God, and we're taking things super slow. I'm still working through my trust issues in therapy, but it feels good to have something positive to focus on. I still don't know if I made the right choice getting involved in all this. Part of me thinks I should have just walked away completely, but another part feels like this was the closure I needed. I don't know. Life is messy. Edit. To the people asking how much money Monica actually took, it was around $37,000 over 18 months. And yes, she was taking it in small amounts, hoping Kevin wouldn't notice. Apparently, she had set up recurring transfers while they were still living together. Edit 2. No, I am not getting back together with Kevin. Oh my frickin' God, why does everyone keep asking this? Running into him at the grocery store was awkward, not romantic. Just because I helped him doesn't mean I forgive him for cheating on me with my best friend. Edit 3. I forgot to mention, Monica moved back in with her parents after all this went down. Apparently she couldn't afford her apartment anymore once she had to start repaying Kevin. Her parents are watching Emma while she works, which is probably for the best. Edit 4. Some people are saying I'm destroying a family, but they destroyed our relationship first. And stealing $37 isn't some minor mistake. That money could have gone toward Emma's college fund or something. I'm not responsible for the consequences of Monica's actions. Edit 5. To answer the questions about what Monica said about being jealous, she claimed she'd been envious of me since college, which makes no sense to me because I was the awkward one with 2 friends while she was Miss Popular. She said it wasn't fair that things came so easily to me. I'm still processing this because honestly, nothing in my life has come easily. And if she felt this way for years, why even be my friend?